What's going on, y'all? My name is Nate. I'm an entrepreneur and a designer based in the US. And today I'm going to be talking about the 2022 recession and what you can do as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or as an individual to set yourself up in the correct way as we see this recession happening. So let's start off. What's a recession? So a recession it's a significant decline in economic activity over many sectors. And it usually lasts more than a few months. Sometimes it can even last a few years. It's normally measured by real GDP, which is gross domestic product, income, employment, things like industrial production, and hotel and resale sales. So the first thing I want to say is a lot of people look at crisis the wrong way, I believe. There's always going to be a decline. Whenever there's an up, there's always going to be a down. And I believe that the way we look at crisis as business owners determines how we see our outcome. So as an entrepreneur, as an investor, as a business owner, it's important to look at the opportunities that come from crisis and try to capitalize on those. So let's talk about the causes of recession. Recession is caused by what they call an overheated economy, where demand outstrips supply, expanding past full employment and the maximum capacity of our nation's resources. So usually the overheating can be sustained by things like interest rates, but eventually spending will fall in order for supply to catch up with the demand. So like I said, a lot of people have been talking about the recession of 2022 and how it's going to happen. Here's how I think it's going to happen. So first of all, we've already had one of the worst starts to the stock market in over 80 years. The Dow is currently down about 15% in 2022, and the NASDAQ is down about 20%. There are thousands of people losing money. People's investment portfolios are tanking. For me, and the one that breaks my heart the most is it's the bear market for crypto. That's where I have a lot of my investments currently. And so right now, a lot of my investments are on ice. You got inflation that has skyrocketed to about 8.5%. You got gas prices skyrocketing to almost $5 as an average in the US. And then on top of that, the cost of money is going up. Interest rates right now on a 30-year mortgage is about 5.4%. And the worst part of it all, it costs just as much to eat in as it costs to eat out. So the first thing I think we're going to see are supply chain and consumer demand issues. So right now, companies can't sell enough of their product, so prices are going up. But again, whatever goes up has to come down. So eventually, consumer spending is going to cool down. And because people aren't buying enough, distributors aren't going to be able to sell enough. So the cost of goods and services are going to start going down as well. And then people are going to start losing jobs at an increasing rate. And because they've lost their jobs, they'll have less money to spend with your business to buy your product or to use your service. And then everybody will be forced to lower their prices to the floor. Now, this is just a prediction. Don't come back and say, Nate, this is exactly how you said it was going to go, and it didn't go exactly like that. None of us know exactly what's going to happen, and even the experts have questions. But that's just my take on it. So let's talk about the 5 things you can do to prepare yourself for this. Now, I can't say the recession isn't going to affect your business if you do these things, but they're just things that are going to set you up in the best way to prepare yourself for it. So first and foremost, you gotta cut costs. Try to keep as much money in the company as you can. And when I say that, I don't mean keeping it in the bank, and we'll get to that. So there's something called the lean and mean model. There's actually a book on it by Robert-Eze. It's called The Lean Startup. I would suggest every entrepreneur and business owner go out and read that, because it's about how to perform as a lean business and try to keep as much money in-house as possible while still maximizing your service or product and running a good company. Number 2, so you want to look at the cost of things that are increasing or will increase, and you want to save there. I'll give you an example. So if you have a business that causes you to drive a lot and the cost of gas is increasing and it's going to increase more, you probably want to think about changing to a more fuel efficient or an electric car. Now, this is just an example. I think you get the point. So number 3, don't store the money. Don't just hoard it in the bank. That's where inflation gets you. You want to take that excess cash that you're saving from other places and put it into things that are going to make that money work for you. There are many ways to do this, but here are just 2. You can start off with Fundrise. It's a platform that allows you to invest into real estate deals all over the country and make some return on the back end. Also, you can invest in cryptocurrency that allows for you to stake it. I know there are coins on Coinbase that allow you to make over 5% APY on your investment every year. So number 4, people are going to be looking to gain more skills and to learn things that are going to make them money. In fact, they could do things like take out a loan or get a credit card to purchase programs that are going to allow them to expand their knowledge and make more money. So you got to be able to position yourself in a way that allows for you to teach these people what you've learned how to do to make money. There's platforms like Teachable, Kajabi, all of those different websites that allow you to create courses that will teach other people to do what you've learned how to do over time. So lastly, number 5, you want to clean up your business as much as possible. You want to clean up your systems, finances. You might even want to clean up some marketing, branding stuff, because all that stuff is super important. And times might be slow, so it's going to allow you to look more into those systems and make sure they're in tip-top shape for when things come back. So let's rewind back to the 2008 financial crisis. There were a lot of companies that were born within that financial crisis that you may know of. Companies like Groupon, Venmo, WhatsApp, and many other companies that were born in this time of crisis. So if those companies could do it, you can do it too. For me, I started my company during the global pandemic back in 2020. And I remember the day I actually got serious about it. I was actually leaving my job the day in February that they told us that we would have to start working from home. Obviously, I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I knew I was gonna have to do something. I was also planning a fashion show and I was planning a brunch at the time. I used to do events. So I realized that those two things were definitely not gonna happen because of the whole social distancing policies and mask mandates and all those different things. So at the time I wrote an article about the 8 things to do during the global pandemic. It's on my website if you wanna go check it out. And I started doing some intensive research about crisis, not only just pandemics, but just crisis and how businesses have been able to emerge during that crisis. Started looking for some ideas and thinking about what I could possibly do. So one of the things in those 8 things I wrote about in what to do during the pandemic was sharpening your saw. And I had realized that all my life I had been an entrepreneur. I had learned how to do architectural visualization, which is what my company does right now. And I just needed to sharpen some things to be able to create a company that allows us to sell this service to other people. So that's exactly what happened. I started learning more about marketing. I started learning more about sales. I started learning about the service business, and it helped me to be able to structure my company in a way that allowed for us to take it to market in 2020. So I have 2 points of saying that story. The first point is, it's all about how you look at opportunity. With there being a lockdown, I knew I was able to lock in on some things that I had not had the time to do in the past. And then also, I started to understand what I had already had going for myself. There's a quote by one of my favorite mentors. His name is Bob Proctor. And he said something that really stuck with me. He said a person doesn't make $100,000 a year because they want to make $100,000 a year. He said they make $100,000 a year because they're not aware of how to make $100,000 in a month. And when we become aware of ourselves and the things that we have going for us, then amazing things start to happen to us. Key point, when we become aware of who we are and what we have going for ourselves. I became aware that I had already been doing 3D visualization. I realized that things were going digital already because you didn't have to be somewhere physically all the time. And I realized someone would have to make those graphics. So that's where Render Vision, my company, was born. So as an individual, you can do it too. Understand what you have going for yourself, whether that's a talent, whether you know how to sing very well, whether you know how to cook very well, whether you're in a certain industry and you're excelling in that industry. Understand where you are and become aware of what you have going for yourself. Or just understand what you want. Understand what makes you happy. Understand what triggers you. In those things, you can find what you're going to create into a business. And then you can align those things with current events and things that are happening around you to create an opportunity out of it. So let me know some of your takeaways from this video. I would love to interact with you all and share thoughts of what you all think is gonna happen and how you all are thinking about repositioning yourself for this recession. Once again, I'm Nate Robert-Eze. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you wanna see more content like this, go ahead and leave me a like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and share this video with someone who you think could benefit from it. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.